Lights Out is directed by David Sandberg and stars Teresa Palmer, Billy Burke, Gabriel Bateman, and Maria Bello, and is about a family that's being stalked by an entity that is afraid of the light. So, going into this movie, I kind of had some really just kind of low expectation for this one, because I didn't really expect much, because when I was seeing the trailers for this film, I just kind of seen it everywhere online and seeing it in theaters with other films, and so it just looked like, at first I thought it was just going to be one of those kind of typical supernatural films that we get every month or every year, where you got a ghost trying to stalk a family, and they have to defeat him, and so on and so on. So, going into this one, I didn't really have much expectation for this, but after I was hearing all the reviews that were coming out for the film, that got me curious, because this is getting a lot of good buzz for it. And it was also produced by James Wan, who I really do admire as a director, especially after coming off the success of the Conjuring films. And I really got me curious as to what this movie was going to be like. So pretty much you have this plot going on where this family is being stalked by this entity that can't go in the light, and basically you have Teresa Palmer, who plays a woman who is looking after her stepbrother, because her stepbrother believes that her mom's going crazy, is talking to this entity in her room all the time, and she doesn't seem mentally stable. So after Teresa Palmer investigates what's happening, she finds out that there's a story that involves there's a backstory that happens later on in the film that we learn of why this ghost is stalking the family. And so I really enjoyed this film a lot. I thought it had some great performances, especially Teresa Palmer. I thought she was really good, especially how, she's very protective of her stepbrother, and she played your everyday kind of woman who's just trying to look into what's happening with the ghost. And I also bought her chemistry pretty well with the little brother played by Gabriel Bateman. I thought for a child actor, he did really good. It's kind of rare that we get good performances out of kids nowadays, but I thought this kid was really good, especially how there are a lot of scenes where he's, he understands of what his mother's going through, and he's really scared, and he just wants to, he's afraid of the dark all the time, and you can actually kind of see that this kid has been through a lot, because there's parts in the movie where he's just trying to get sleep. So I thought the kid did pretty good. And I also like the guy who played Teresa Palmer's boyfriend. I forgot the guy's name, but I thought he cracked me up at times. He had some funny lines here and there, and Teresa Palmer played off each other pretty well. So I did enjoy him. And I can also say that the scares in this film really got me, because of course there's a lot of different jump scares in this movie, but these are the kind of jump scares that feel genuine, because they don't seem like the kind of jump scares that are just that are just like the fake ones you would see where someone taps on the shoulder and all that. They probably have maybe one time they do that in this movie, but from what I was seeing, the scares had me on the edge of my seat, and I really got terrified with what's happening to the ghost, because what's clever about the direction of this movie is that you don't really see too much of the ghost until probably close to the end, and when you do finally see it, not to spoil anything, but it kind of looks like something you would see off of the Evil Dead movies. It looks pretty creepy. And I also thought that the whole premise alone, where how the ghost can't come into the light and how the characters are actually trying to survive, I thought that was really clever writing, because first of all, you know how you get your typical cliches with horror films where characters don't know, always do a lot of stupid decisions. Well, in this one, I like that they at least made the characters actually aware of what's happening with what to do and everything, and they're actually carrying flashlights all throughout the movie. So I did enjoy that. And there's also some other really disturbing parts in the movie too, where part that reminds me a little bit of The Conjuring 2, where it's playing this tape recorder. I thought that really worked really well, because it felt like I was hearing something off of The Exorcist. It was really It was really intense. And this movie also reminded me a little bit of Darkness Falls. I haven't seen that movie in such a long time, but I remember that movie too also had a ghost or an entity that was trying to kill people, and it also has to avoid the light. So I can say that this movie is on that level of Darkness Falls by bringing in better scares, because I remember in that movie, that one did do a lot of obvious jump scares that were just coming out of place. So this one at least raised the stakes a lot higher for me. I thought the movie had a good pace too. It does kind of go by pretty fast. It's about 82 minutes long, but it didn't feel like it dragged at all. And you usually get these kind of movies where the pacing's very slow and you don't really see too much. But the pacing went by pretty fast. it kind of felt like when they got to the actual climax, it did kind of go pretty fast, and it did pay off pretty well. You know, especially in the end when there's like this big shock that happens, and it really got to me. Now there are a couple of cons of the movie that I thought that didn't work. The movie does kind of feel like it's a little too. It is. If you've seen these type of other films like The Grudge or Darkness Falls, any other type of horror film where the characters are always constantly going out to check on something, you get your typical cliches like this one. And plus and that doesn't bother me too. I guess it doesn't bother me too much because we've seen these kind of things before. And there was another thing too. I kind of wish they would go a little more into was more the motivation that happens with the ghost, because even though they explain it in the film, I thought that they could have done it a little more. But for what they did, I thought this was a generally good scary movie. I thought this was a generally good scary horror film, and I thought this was a generally pretty scary movie, and I do recommend it. And I'm going to give the movie an 8.5 out of 10. What did you guys think of Lights Out? Tell me what you thought about it, comment below, and if you like what you see here, you can check me out on YouTube under my channel, and there'll be more reviews coming up here soon. I'll see you guys later.